Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and we're here today with special guests, Greg and Tisha Marie Cain, and they're here to share with us their new show, Beyond Mindset Limits. So are you ready to break beyond the limits that are holding you back? Well, then this show is just for you as we discover how mastering your mindset, navigating legal challenges, and publishing a book can propel your business, brand, and life forward. Gregory Allen Cain is a retired California correctional peace officer and United States Navy veteran with a distinguished 25-year career at Mill Creek, Folsom, and San Quentin state prisons. He now serves as the Chief Operating Officer of Cain Legal Support and Cain and Company Publishing, where he's a #1 international published author and continues his work in law as an officer of the court. Tisha Marie Cain is an executive counsel, C-suite breakthrough mindset coach, clinical hypnotherapist, and multiple #1 best-selling international author and artist who helps people rewire their subconscious, release emotional weight, and transform their relationship with money, power, and self-worth. She works with a wide range of clients, including Fortune 500 executives and visionary leaders, guiding them through deep mindset work and subconscious healing for self-liberation. Tisha Marie is highly sought after for her work in elevating executive mindsets with clarity, confidence, and strategic vision to convert opportunities into measurable advantages. So welcome to the show, Greg and Tisha Marie Cain.
Yay! Thank you,
Yes.
Marianne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, you guys are just such great inspirations. I just adore you both. I'm so excited that we get to spend this time together. What inspired you both to create your own radio show on KMET, and what do you hope listeners take away from it?
Wow, we were having deep conversations about this exact question. Like, what really inspired us to create our show? And what we wanted to know and what we wanted to share was this show is going to be born out of the real conversations that Greg and I are already having between the two of us. And so we have these questions and we have these conversations every single day. We have them with ourselves, with executives, with families, with authors. And more importantly, we're having these conversations with high stakes decision makers. We realized that there was a gap between motivation and real world application. Beyond mindset limits exist for that exact reason, to bridge the gap.
Well, Marianne, it's like this. Our goal was simple: real conversations that empower people and clarity, options and confidence.
I love that too, Greg, because we know that we want our listeners to be empowered and inspired after our show. So we're so thankful that you get to put this out and we get to impact more lives.
Well, one of the things I really appreciate about you both, and especially with your tagline, this really brings everything home, where clarity meets confidence and transformation becomes actionable. What a big deal that is. And so if we look at mindset as a theme for the both of you, can you share a little bit about how you define an executive mindset and why mindset is so important?
An executive mindset isn't about title. When I think about it, it's about responsibility and strategic thinking under pressure. It's the ability to stay grounded while making high impact decisions, to lead with clarity instead of fear. Wouldn't you say that's right, Greg?
Well, I think I have it. An executive mindset means clear thinking, responsibility, and calm decision making under pressure.
That's great. And mindset determines how you interpret challenges. So, what we found is sometimes two people can face the same obstacles. And Greg and I have seen this between our own partnership and our own relationship. One sees a threat and the other sees leverage. The difference shapes outcomes in business, in law, in relationships, and more importantly, in life.
Ooh, I love both of your answers. I mean, how empowering is that? And mindset makes such a big difference. So, in your coaching work, what are some of the most common mindset blocks that you see executives struggle with? And how does overcoming these challenges expand their success?
Oh, yes. So this is a two-part question. The common mindset blocks that I've been seeing here lately from executives, more importantly, is perfectionism, control, unresolved emotional patterns are huge right now. So many high performers are successful despite their mindset and not because of it. Once those subconscious blocks are addressed, and we address those at the root cause. I know, Marianne, you and I have talked about this before, going down to the root. Once we address those subconscious blocks, expansion becomes sustainable instead of exhausting.
Well, I think the executives come to us because of their fear, ego, and the hesitation that limits growth. Clarity and confidence expands their success.
That's right. And what we see is executives release fear-based decision makings. They stop reacting and start leading. The impact that these executives are making multiplies and their influence grows once they work on these blocks.
That is such a big deal because you do hear of executives, and I'm going to just, have this for the both of you that get into a position where they're seeing the same thing happen over and over and over again, and they are at a plateau or they hit these major roadblocks, and either they're unable to overcome them or maybe they're having some dysfunction in their organization. What do you do then?
Yeah, we take them back to the root cause. I specialize and I'm an expert in rewiring the subconscious mind. And hypnotherapy is the fastest cheat code. And when I say cheat code, it's done right now. We can get in there. It doesn't have to take months and years like we used to believe in the past. We can get it done in 90 minutes and we address the root cause of their blocks, whether that be fear of being seen, unresolved emotional trauma. Once we address those blocks and clear them out, we just reorganize that frenetic energy that's been keeping them stuck. And we see them exponentially grow within their business and in their personal lives.
And that's so important. I know a lot of people come to you for one reason or another. Let's say that, because I know the both of you, you have your legal business. So how does your legal expertise play a role in the guidance that you provide?
Well, Marianne, we provide a legal clarity to help clients make informed, confident decisions.
Yeah, that's important. Is legal knowledge gives people clarity. And that's what we really want is people to have certainty and clarity. When you understand the system, you start feeling powerful and less powerless. We help people anticipate the consequences that are ahead of them. We help them protect themselves and make decisions with their eyes wide open. Yeah, and when you bridge that back to the legal expertise and how that plays a role in there, more importantly, we translate legal complexities into basic human language. We just break it down to the fundamentals. Law should empower, not intimidate.
Well, so, let's toggle over to your publishing company and let's talk about this. So, what sets it apart in the current market, and what kind of authors or projects are you both the most passionate about supporting?
Well, I think that, like for authors, we help authors share impact stories with professional guidance and support.
We found that we just don't publish books. We start building authority. We're really passionate about transformational work. We're passionate to help leaders, survivors, visionaries, and experts who are ready to share wisdom that changes lives and preserves the legacies of their companies.
Well, again, books should open doors. Media, speaking, influences. This is how we approach publishing. We try to open as many doors as possible.
Well, I think that's such an important piece. And so when we talk about publishing opening doors. And thank you for bringing it up, Greg, because that's such a huge, huge piece. I think people don't really understand. What does it look like for an entrepreneur who is going to publish a book? How do they leverage that?
Leadership is everything. It's possible. People have things in their mind. They don't put it on paper, but they keep it in their mind for years and years and years, and they want to express it. So by essence, they're not getting their information out. They go to YouTube, the multimedia things, and the thing is that they can shut you down anytime. You write a book, and the book's out there you control the book. It's your writing, your life, and it's out there forever.
Oh, you know what? That makes me think about, um, Marianne, how like everything, even our music isn't owned. We don't own anything anymore.
Mm.
And those platforms can be taken down immediately. And when we publish books and we borrow the credibility of a best-selling author, that book is forever and it's in print. And they get to pass it down to their teams and their families. And it's really important to timestamp what's in your mind, like Greg was talking about, into a published piece of work where people feel good about what they wrote and they get to own it.
Such a big piece. So, when we talk about, I know you have many key lessons that you've learned from your own journey because you both are very highly successful entrepreneurs. Is there something there you'd like to share with our listeners for those who may be starting out?
Absolutely. I talk about how your inner world determines your outer results. Invest in mindset before scaling anything strategically. So if your mindset is not on par, then things will unravel quickly. So what you're feeling inside, and I think in the past they said you have to see it to believe it. And I actually believe that's wrong. I believe that you have to believe it to see it. So once your inner world starts constructing what you want to see and you start believing that, you're a pivotal person in today's society, then you'll start seeing evidence of those belief systems.
Well, I think everyone has to take risk, of course, but you must stay disciplined. Embrace mindset growth and learn from your failures. That's what you do. When you have failure, it makes you pivot and regroup and learn from it.
I love that. And I would also say don't wait for certainty. Clarity comes from action. Start doing something. What are you doing to propel your goals forward is what I typically ask my clients first out the gate.
So, I know, Tisha Marie, we've talked a few times about books that entrepreneurs have published through your company. How has that helped them?
Wow. Yes, I'm so excited about this because one, everyone's different and they can leverage it any way they want to see it leverage. I've produced books for realtors who are parent coaches. I've produced books for ice cream truck ladies who are now number one international best-selling authors. I've produced poetry books for the wisdom keepers in the woods, and they have went to their local bookstores and done book signings, and they've become pillars in their own community by leveraging now their new borrowed credibility of a best-selling author. And more importantly, I see what happens with the transformation on the inside of these authors once they have their published work out into the world. It kind of makes me emotional because the sense of pride that they have now after their book is published and they get to share it with their teams and their families, it is beyond what I ever thought was going to happen.
Well, and I know that you are a published best-selling author as well, Greg. So, can you share a little bit about your books with us?
Well, the first time I wrote a book was like my wife challenged me to 100 day of art.
I did not challenge you. No, that
Yes.
doesn't happen here in our home.
That sounds really like what really happens,
Well,
knowing the both of you.
actually, I'd like her to explain that situation, how we got into art and writing a book.
No, because I'm so proud. Greg, this is where I'm so proud of you because I think he challenges me, Marianne. He challenged me to be the best version of myself. And so I just mirror back to him to be the best version of who he is. And so it started out with a little banter back and forth. And I'm like, I'm going to do 100 days of art. And Greg said, well, I'm going to do art too. And his first piece of art out the gate was like, oh, should be in a museum. I was so proud of my husband. And that led into something even more magical that we never really thought would happen. And so this is what we do for people. We help transform their lives through basic rewiring of the brain, getting them back to whatever you used to do as a child is actually where you need to lock in and go back to that because it fed your soul back then. It can feed your soul now. So I'm so really proud of my husband and what he's been able to accomplish. And I'm really proud about this radio show and getting our knowledge and our experience out to the world.
Well, I want to say that you didn't tell her that you told me that I'm no artist. And that's what the challenge was. I wanted to challenge you that I am an artist. Art is the eye of the beholder.
Yes. And you know what? That's so funny. I didn't say that because I was not looking towards my husband for advice when it came to my art because I didn't think he was an artist. So I enlisted the help of a friend in Florida and I called her. And, Marianne, like when you see an artist and they have several pieces of work and you can see like the common themes, like the common colors, I call it, it's kind of woo woo, but I call it your cosmic signature. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but can you explain a little bit about what that looks like?
Sure. So when you go into an art gallery and maybe you see 10 or 15 pieces of work from the same artist, they typically make the same paint strokes, the way that they hold the brush, the color palettes that they use, they're all different. But you can see their cosmic signature throughout each piece and oh, okay, that's Amy's art. Oh, okay, that's Alan's art. And so you can see their personality through each piece. And so I called this artist out of Florida who's amazing and brilliant. And I said, I'm really stepping into my artistry. I've been in the corporate world for over 20 years and I want to step into my artistry and I want my own signature. I want my own signature on this art and my own cosmic signature. How do I get that? And she goes, you know what, Miss Tisha Marie Cain, just keep doing art and you'll see how your signature, your cosmic signature comes through. And I said, okay. Well, I'd gotten off the phone and I went to Gregory and I said, Greg, this artist just told me to keep doing art. And we kind of laughed. And Greg goes,
I
Greg
said,
laughed.
I told you that already. I could told you that before you even talked to her.
He
And
did.
and
And
and she goes, "You're no artist."
yeah, I was so rude to my husband, Marianne. I was sucked. I was so sucked there. I was so rude to him. And I said, well, you're no artist. And my husband, just being the giant gentle that he is, he just gets up and leaves for like 2 hours. And for 2 hours, I sat there. I'm like, wow, I was being a jerk. Like that, I love my husband so much. Why did I be so rude at him? And when he came back into the house, I quickly apologized and I said, you know what, babe, I love you so much and I shouldn't have been so rude, but I wanted to enlist the help of this artist in Florida who's, she sells her pieces for thousands of dollars. And so that gave birth to 100 days of art. Greg and I sitting down at the kitchen table and Greg, I said, I'm going to paint trees because I'm going to embody Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. He was an amazing man. And Greg's like, well, I'm going to sketch barns. I said, you are? And the first piece, the first barn that he sketched, Marianne, was like, I looked at him, I'm like, oh my God, oh my goodness. And then Greg looks at me and what did you say, Greg?
What did I say?
You said, well, see, babe, you said I'm no artist.
Yeah, but I was using charcoal, and I had more charcoal on my face than I did the actual paper.
Well, I've seen your art, and it's something that a master would be doing. And for somebody who is being told, "Oh, you don't do art," I mean, you kind of. I hate to say this, Tisha Marie, but you kind of showed her. You know?
Yeah,
That's exactly. Well, we're not saying he's a neat artist. He's just
yeah.
he's a fantastic artist that's messy, and I'm messy, and and that leads me into another thought is, how many times do we do it messy? Just take action. Just take action towards your goals. And this is what we'll talk about on our radio show is mindset. Just what are you doing towards your goals? And if you don't know where to start, just start doing something.
Just start doing something. And so, for those people who are new to the idea of mindset coaching, because maybe some folks haven't heard about that, it's like, well, what do you mean? What does that? What does that do? Can you explain how shifting one person's mindset can impact their professional and personal success?
Absolutely. Mindset work removes internal resistance. And my Greg and I were talking about this last night is mindset is just the new word for your attitude. Back when we were kids, our parents would say, fix your
Change your attitude.
attitude.
Change your attitude.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so mindset's just the new repackaged word for change your attitude. So mindset work removes internal resistance. And when your subconscious aligns with your goals, um, progress starts to accelerate naturally. And so you don't have any burnout. And that's what I love is when you work on your mindset, you're not burned out because you're accelerating your progress quicker once you do the work.
Well, we combine mindset. We want you to keep moving forward with legal guidance and publishing insights for practical solutions.
Yeah, so we blend all of those, which is great.
I feel that that comes together so nicely. And so, Greg, when you are doing a piece of art, where is your mind during that time? Do you already have an idea of what it is that you're going to do, or is it something that just comes naturally from you?
Well, first of all, if you listen to my wife, she calls me the angry artist because I don't talk at the table. I'm fully concentrating the work I'm doing, and she's rambling on all kinds of stuff. I just listen. She's like a hypnosis. I listen to her, and she's talking. But if you want a conversation with me, not now because I'm doing artwork. But I do it because I like to do it because it takes me away from all the stresses in life. You have things going on in your life and you look for balance. And, I can go work out, I can go run, I can go do something else. But artwork takes you to a different realm where you can just fantasize about things you want to draw or do or paint. And that's how I do it.
And you know what? I could speak to that too, because when Greg and I were doing art, I would lose him, Marianne. I would be talking my ear off, talking his ear off, just having for me, art, I dove in and it was a meditative practice, but all of these, it just opened up channels that I never thought possible. And I'm like, okay, we could do this with our art. And okay, now that we've spent 100 days making art, we can publish a book and we can make some affirmation cards and we could make prints and we could sell this at the farmer's market, and all these creative ideas and channels opened up for me. And for Greg, it was a really internal process. And I knew that I couldn't talk to him through the 3 hours sitting at the kitchen table. And he would just, oh, good, and have these
Yeah.
one word little things. And it
She
was
called me the she called me the angry artist.
the angry artist.
But I wasn't angry. I just wasn't talking.
It really sounds like when you both do that type of work that you both are in your own zone, as they talk
Right.
about.
That's it, Marianne. I was in my zone, and the more she talked, the more I drew.
It sounds like some really good marriage advice too. You know?
It is very good, very good. I have to say, because I've been blessed with more words than the Bible concordance, and I don't know if our listeners know about the Bible concordance and what that is, but it's like a dictionary for the Bible. It's an exhaustive concordance of the Bible, and you can go and you can look up. Okay, if I want to know about love, it will give you every page in the Bible that love is there. So I've been blessed with more words than the Bible concordance. And my husband is a fantastic listener. So I'm so blessed.
Oh my gosh.
It's safer to be a listener.
What a wise man. What a wise man. Well, and so as we talk about your publishing and the work that you're doing, because I know your artwork has been a big part of the publishing that you do as well. So in the publishing industry, it's always evolving. What trends or changes do you see on the horizon that authors and entrepreneurs, because I mean, my goodness, entrepreneurs can use this as a real big marketing piece for their business, what should they be aware of?
Right now, the trends that I'm seeing is that's an authority driven publishing. And so that's on the rise. Books are no longer just products, they're positioning tools within their businesses. And authenticity matters here most.
Well, there's always the digital platforms, self-publishing, and multimedia content, which are shaping the future opportunities. Shifting mindset changes decisions, boosts confidence, and improves personal and professional outcomes. We've had several clients overcome fear by gaining clarity, transforming business and personal life. So, I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, you're great. No, authenticity matters. And we have had clients overcome that fear. And readers are wanting more resonance. They're wanting a place to capture their legacy forever and be able to pass it down. So that authority driven publishing is ranking and rising quickly.
Well, we three have talked about this many times about how information can be given out. And it's really in regards to the reader, the listener, the person that's being coached on how they receive it. And it's received differently from different people to different people. So I might hear the same thing from a top person that does coaching and that type of work. And it doesn't really resonate with me. But then when I hear it from somebody else, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I get it. The lights are on. That makes sense in my life. And you both are so authentic and so easy to understand and connect with. I think a lot of people are drawn to you and the work that you do because of that.
Thank you for that. I think we're really authentic and we're really approachable because we've been in the trenches before. We've done it. And so we just give people the framework to get through. Let's be real. Life is in session. And sometimes life could beat you up. And sometimes life can be this beautiful wild ride. And so since Greg and I are serial entrepreneurs, let's be real, we just kind of give people the framework to make all of their dreams come true. And I know that kind of sounds cliche, but the reality is we believe that the sky is not the limit. Whatever you can dream, you can have. And we just show people that it's possible.
Well, when you overcome fear, you gain clarity. And that's the main thing is we push forward to gain clarity. And then when you gain clarity, your options open up tremendously.
Well, do you know, it's interesting. We were talking about it. I mean, we've all done it. Attend the 3-day workshops and where everyone's like, yeah, the cheerleaders are going and you're all pumped up while you're there. And then you leave and then life happens. I mean, Greg, how do you feel after those type of events when you attend them?
Well, first of all, the coaching is good for everybody. I mean, they pump you up, they give you motivation, they have you seek out new, different types of opportunities, and you're really pumped up for 3 to 5 days. And then they want you to invest in them, which is good. However, when you go home, though, you get home, it's like, oh, where we go? Where'd the crowd go? Where's the music going? Everything just disappears. And you think, well, what do I got to do to get that back? So that's how they get you to come back, which is a good thing because coaching helps a lot of people and it's helped a lot of executives too.
Yeah. And you know what, Greg? Because Greg and I have been to those workshops together. And luckily, like my husband was willing to come with me, Marianne, because when you go off alone and then you come back and your partner's like, oh, where you just came from planet Mars back home. And why are you so jazzed up? And your partner's like, luckily, Greg and I have done those workshops together. So we were on a high and like dreaming
Well,
big. And we came back to the home and we're like, okay, how do we sustain that level of energy?
well,
And how did we do that, Greg?
let me say this thing. When I went to my first coaching seminar, I was not into it. I had boxes around me. I worked for Department of Corrections. I was in the Navy. I had boxes around boxes around boxes. So I really didn't believe in coaching. I didn't think it would do nothing for me. And so
Greg, can I share something? Oh my gosh, this reminds me because remember, Greg, you said, I'm out of here. This is dumb. And Greg got
yeah,
triggered. Remember,
yeah,
Greg?
yeah, we
Greg
were.
said that. I'm out of here. And I'm like, wait. Can you just stay with me? And I just want to go through this process. And then what happened when you stayed?
Oh man, when I stayed, I mean, first thing they taught you, like for one thing, was the 2% of having your body up 2%. So it meant that I was hunched over. I didn't want to be there. When they told me to stand up more 2% at a direct angle, I was now a man in charge, not a man of just weakness.
And
So,
what they taught us was it's those small, simple, little shifts. We don't have to save the planet all in one day, right? Here on this radio show today. We don't have to talk about it all. What is one key nugget that can help you improve your life today? And they talked about just stand a little bit taller and you'll feel better. And Greg's like, okay, that's digestible. That's something I could do. And then he put it into practice. And what we call in the coaching space, he embodied the teachings. And so Greg did that and he goes, wow, I didn't really believe that just 2% shift and standing up 2% taller could change my life. And did it, Greg?
oh, not only that, the breathing helped me. They want you to breathe through your diaphragm and take big breaths. And when I did that, I got more clarity.
Oh, yeah. Breath work
Mm.
is so good.
Mm-mm-mm. So, but I know the two of you touch on something that I thought was important, and I want to dive into this a little bit. You talked about attending and Greg, you had actually mentioned this, and I want to dovetail into this about we attend the workshops. It's for 3 days. We're all pumped up. We come home, and then life happens. But they want the people who facilitate these workshops want us to come again and again and again and again to invest in them. What are ways that you see people kind of making shifts instead of attending these 3 day workshops, invest in themselves?
Investment in yourself is huge. A lot of people don't like to invest in themselves. They like to go to Costco, go to the stores, buy, things that they like, buy cars, buy entertainment things, but they won't invest in themselves. So what good is it to invest in cars, houses, and boats and everything you want if you don't invest in yourself? Because that's where the main problem is. You are the main problem. You need to invest in yourself. So that's why we have um, Cain's legal coaching and everything like that. Because what that does is if we bring you from that piece of thinking,
And I think,
Mm-hmm. That's
it's
great.
called, yeah, it's like retail therapy. I think in the past I've done that too. And now I've worked myself into less is more, a more minimal lifestyle, because the more you have, the more you have to
defend,
maintain and the
defend.
more you have to defend. And Greg and I really want to, going down to a minimal lifestyle and really working on our mindset to comprehend and understand what is it necessary to live? What do we need? And I'm all about easy buttons and living comfortably now in the second act of my life. But yeah, it's like, how do you sustain that? Invest in your mindset to go deeper and look down to the root cause of why you do what you do.
I think that you both offer so much wisdom on this topic. And, your hypnotherapy has been a game changer in my life. And I
Mm,
know for a lot of people who have attended, and it's not to say there's anything wrong with the 3-day workshops, any of them. But the thing is if they don't get into a person's personal mindset, then nothing changes. So, how do you? I know your show aims to blend these different areas of mindset, legal advice, and publishing. How will that look?
yeah, I believe that real life isn't siloed. So mindset affects all the legal decisions, and legal clarity affects confidence. And our publishing company amplifies their impact. So when we look at all of that, it's all going back to mindset and how you perceive the world and how you see the world through your eyes. And we just help you reframe that. And hypnotherapy is one of the modalities that we use. There's several modalities, and Greg talks about this too, about the tools. He breaks it down to the masculinity. We have a toolbox, and there's
How
certain
many tools
tools.
you have? Yeah. How many
Yeah,
tools do you have in there? The more tools you are having your toolbox, the more you can handle conflict. Mindset shapes decisions, drives growth, and guides our business and life. So
that's right.
the more tools you have, the more opportunity you can handle an obstacle.
And Greg taught me we don't pull out a hammer when we need a screwdriver. We have to pull out the right tools for the right situation to be successful. And so I love having his masculinity and that man perspective on the show, because sometimes I get so lost in my creativity and dream big that he brings me back to say, hey, let's use the right tool for this. And hypnotherapy, for me, I knew I had to be a clinical hypnotherapist because I like fast, easy buttons. And this is the cheat code to rewire the subconscious brain and go back into the programming. We're all running the programming in our brain. And I use neuro linguistic programming. Neuro is the brain, linguistics is the language, and the programming is the files that have been indoctrinated into us, whether that be good or bad, our family values. And so we rewire your subconscious brain using hypnotherapy. And business hypnotherapy is on the rise. It is the best thing since sliced pie. And I'm seeing all these executives come in and do a quick one up and say, okay, I've got this imposter syndrome. I don't believe that I'm deserving of this legacy business that was gifted to me. And we just go in, look at the root cause of that, rewire it, and out we go. And it's so fantastic.
Yeah, there's so much to be gained there. I love how you're making this so accessible for everybody, especially from a business aspect. I know that C suite leaders, millionaires, and billionaires are using this as their secret tool that they don't really talk about because a lot of people think of this as something that's woo woo. So, so can you share a success story from someone you've coached that's had a life-changing breakthrough thanks to the mindset work and legal guidance that you both provide?
Oh my gosh, yes. What fills my heart is there are tons of success stories using hypnotherapy. I'm one of them. And that's why I had to learn this modality and help bring it to the world. I've worked with executives, I've worked with families, and they've moved from crisis to clarity. It's like a funnel. We bring them through our legal business into our coaching business, and then we publish their story. So it's pretty awesome. We watched custody battles resolve without court. We've watched leaders step into bigger influences than they ever thought possible. And when we bridge the gap between mindset and that legal empowerment, and that aligns all up together, their lives change.
I understand that you're also changing lives at what most people would consider a very difficult time, and that's going through a divorce. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Divorces can be very expensive. And we guide couples to resolve conflicts peacefully, avoiding court and stress and cost.
That's right. And we say, you know what, you could have this divorce take 5 to 8 years and you can throw hundreds and thousands of dollars at it. Or we can take away the argument, take away the conflict, and we just have a new agreement. And so we help people come to agreements quicker and faster with better resolution without the argument and the conflict.
So most folks then don't have to see the inside of a courtroom in order to go through a divorce. If they have someone that's like the both of you that are there to help mediate the situation.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. Yes. Here in California, there's one county that's doing a
One day.
yeah, it's a 1-day divorce, which is fantastic. And we help all counties, but typically in California, it's 6 months and 1 day, and they don't have to see the inside of a courtroom ever. So we take them through the process, through our legal business. We show them that there is a fast track to success. We don't have to hate each other. For whatever reason, we had a marriage contract. We're just going to break that marriage contract, and we're going to do up a new contract that is fitting and fair, that comes with equity, and push the easy button on this too. We don't have to hate each other. We have family, we have children, we have dogs and cats and animals.
And
We're just
assets.
going to, bigger assets, and we just help them resolve the conflict, split everything equally, get it on paper, and then I bring it before the judge, and the judge is like, "Oh, we don't have any conflict here. They're in agreement. Okay, well, there's nothing for me to do here today. Here's my wet ink signature. You guys are now divorced." And it really is that simple.
It sounds like it makes things not only simple, but makes it so that people can finally get on with their lives too.
Yeah, we focus on education and strategy, and more importantly, emotional regulation, because sometimes it could be high conflict, and they have some big emotions in this, and so we just take all that out and say, hey, let's look at what is real, what's best for the families, and let's just do that. It gets to be that simple, and then they're like, oh, okay.
It lets them avoid court stress to credible amounts. I mean, going to court is very stressful. No one wants to go to court, and they don't want to argue. This is the way to handle this their divorce.
And I say peace over prolonged conflict. At this stage of my life, Marianne, I will pay for peace. And I don't know about you, but I will pay for peace.
Well, someone can spend thousands, and that's not a joke, thousands and thousands of dollars going through the court system, or they can get it where it's actually done through a mediator and take that money and, as you both talk about, go on vacation.
Yeah.
Tahiti.
Tahiti, yes, I know. That's one of Greg and my favorite places to go is Tahiti, the overwater bungalow, and we set the scene for them. Hey, you guys can be in an overwater bungalow, swimming with the fish, having the great time for the money that you're spending on this divorce. So let's look at what's real, and we just come in and be completely transparent and honest, and show them that there's a better way.
So I know you talk about the mindset aspect of the work, the mindset coaching, the legal, and congratulations, by the way, because I know you also just opened a Las Vegas office. So you're also handling divorces and mediation for that area as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning our Las Vegas office. Greg and I were just looking at each other last night and said, can you believe that this is happening right now? And Greg and I just kind of giggled and we're like, yep, it just makes sense because we've done the work. We help people nationwide, and to be able to open up the Las Vegas office and grow our business. Wow, we're just at a state of gratitude and a state of joy. We've gone from happiness to joy to bliss, and just looking at how we can impact lives through all of the businesses that we own. It's kind of like a whole concierge service. Like whatever you need, I'm so confident that Greg and I can help you with any of it.
So earlier we talked about how authors and entrepreneurs are publishing their works. What are some of the benefits of having their own book in print?
I think the book establishes credibility instantly. It's tangible proof of your expertise for being a thought leader. We kind of bridge the gap between who the person is and who they want to be by publishing their book, and then they really step into that instantly. So I love what the book has to offer.
Well, you say printing printing books is part of reality and reaches credibility, but I'd say it builds credibility. It reaches audiences and creates lasting impact.
It does create lasting impacts too.
Ooh.
I think our own personal books have impacted more lives than I thought possible. We had one lady post out on one of the social media platforms for my book, Wisdom of the Trees, and she said, "This is the first book I have ever read cover to cover." And you know what happened, Marianne? Her boss called me and he said, "Tisha, one of my employees has read your book from cover to cover, and it's her first book ever, and she's late into her 40s. I'd like to buy all of your books and gift those to her." And I became very emotional. I signed all of them and I said I'd be happy to do that. And what he wanted to do for her is to create a reader and to open up her world with the power of books. So I didn't really believe that my impact would grow just out of a simple heart project that was laying on my heart, and it certainly has.
I love that. Well, and so what role does mindset and personal development play in both of your lives? And how do you incorporate that into your business and life?
I think we practice what we preach daily. It's foundational, wouldn't you say, Greg?
Well, it gives us clarity and it allows us to take action and adjust mindset continuously for success.
Hmm.
Well, and I think also coming from Greg, a person who, when we look at Greg's world of being a former correctional officer and he'd been in the military, to being able to be a person that looks at mindset and personal development in the way that you do, I think a lot of people resonate with that because it's hard to look at that and go, oh, okay, mindset's for me too. I could use mindset.
Well, I had so many barriers. I didn't think outside the box. I was the word regimented? Yeah, regimented.
Regimented. Yeah, you
Yeah,
were very
regimented.
regimented.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you told me all the time that, ease up, ease up. And once I got rid of those barriers, I could think clearly. It's like my subconscious was able to think, not my conscious level. My conscious always blocks everything to protect you, but my subconscious let me go beyond limits.
And you know what's important to know, Marianne, is as I was going through my clinical hypnotherapy, we were required to do, I think it was like 250 hypnotherapy sessions before we could charge. And of course, I looped in all of my family and friends, and I asked Greg, would he be open to a hypnotherapy session? And Greg said, absolutely not. He was scared. He was like, what are you going to find out? What's in there? And I just had to make him feel more comfortable and teach him about the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind wants to protect us, and it won't bring anything up for resolution unless it wants to. And so with Greg as retired law enforcement, he had boxes. He says, I don't believe in hypnotherapy. And I'm just like, okay, can you just play the game? We're going to make this very easy. I need to do, all of these before I could charge and change lives. And luckily, thank you, Greg, because you opened up, and Greg was one of the best students I had.
Well, I don't even know if I'm the same person I was. I could be a woman right here, and I don't know if she changed me or not.
That's not true. It's so funny.
I ask people all the time, "Am I the same person as you knew me like a week ago?" Because when you talk to my wife, she's using hypnosis talking to me on a daily basis. So I don't know if I'm working. I don't know if it's working or not, but I don't know if I'm the same person.
You are. The neighbor said, "Oh, there's you, Greg. Hi, Greg. I missed you, Greg." So the neighbor even recognized you. So you're the same person. Although I believe I got the upgraded 2.0 Gregory Cain.
Yes, you did.
Well, and that's funny that you say that because didn't Greg say that about you?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
Marianne.
I
He
get
did.
sick.
Because in the past, about 10 years ago, I was suffering from sadness and I knew that I was destined for more. I knew I was here to live a big life. I knew there's got to be something else besides the sadness. And I did my first hypnotherapy session to clear out that negative emotion that I had been holding on to because it was familiar. And after that, Greg said, "I don't know what happened, babe, but I know I just got an upgraded wife." And that was then I opened up the California office. And now we're 10 years later, opened up the Vegas office. And who knows where we're going to be 10 years from now. But I just hope to impact millions of lives. And even if it's just a small, simple shift that helps improve their life in a small way, I think this show is going to be successful.
I like to say one thing though. She did solve something for me. I used to weigh 287 pounds, and I went through her hypnosis class,
And wait, what did you weigh in today? What did you weigh in today?
206,
206, Marianne.
like
Oh
80,
my
80
gosh.
pounds, 80 pounds gone.
So hypnotherapy can be used for weight release. And so Greg's like, okay, if you talk about talking the talk and walking the walk, okay, you've already taken me through a hypnotherapy session. Why don't you help me release this? And we don't lose weight. We're not here to lose weight because if you lose something, you can definitely find it. So using correct NLP language, we release weight or shed weight. And so we did a hypnotherapy session to have Greg release this weight, and he's down to 206 pounds today.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. I know for a lot of people who find themselves in a position where they get stuck, or maybe they're unsure of their path, how do you see the intersection of mindset work and your legal empowerment make such a difference for people?
It's the intersection of the mindset and the legal empowerment. That's good. I think it restores agency. People stop feeling like the victims of their circumstance and they start becoming architects of their future. And I love that word architect because I'm the builder of my life and you're the builder of your life. What do you want to build? And get really clear. And this mindset work, there's a lot to it. And I just Greg and I help people bring their biggest vision into full resolution, high pixelated state, so they can see the picture, they can feel the picture, smell the picture, see the picture, bring that full into resolution so they become the architects of their future.
Well, I just say focus on clarity. You focus on clarity, you'll get new visions and new insight on what you want to do. You take action, and adjust mindset continues for success. That's what it's come for me. I know that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's such an empowering piece. I mean, so what are some of the biggest myths or misconception about executive mindset coaching you see?
In reality, I think it's one of the most strategic investments a leader can make. They think, okay, mindset coaching, like, is there something to this? This must be soft. This is not that easy. And that's one of the biggest myths I see. What do you see, Greg?
Well, I just think that hypnosis, coaching, people intend to like, well, I could do it on my own. I don't need anybody's help. I don't. I can do this all myself. But as an end result, that they don't do it on themselves. They don't accomplish anything, and they're still stuck in the water. You have a chance to get out of the water, stuck in the mud. You have a chance to get coaching and hypnosis, and once you like Tisha's hypnosis is a one and done. It's not like you're going to a counselor and you're going to be going 6 or 7 months or years getting counseling. You go to her for one time. It's a one-time session, And most of the time she can heal or get you on the right direction right away.
Yeah, and I love that because you've brought up, I've shared the stories of how these executives have made major transformation in just one session. And they come back because it's kind of like we're their accountability buddies. And so we just keep them moving forward. Okay, cool. We work through anger. Now let's work through not worthy or not good enough. And so, Greg, you've seen that too as my clients elevate into the next level leader that they are, right?
Well, you tell them if I'm doing my job right, our sessions will be over. But they continue to come because I think they like your energy level. They like
Yeah.
they like your energy. They like what they're getting, and so they tend to like come in for one thing, but they blend it over to like not good enough. Fear have fear factor in their life. They have different things. They have issues they want to discuss with you.
And I do say that. I do say, if I'm doing my job well, I'm working myself out of a job. But the caveat to that, Marianne, is not really, because they typically come in through the legal business. And then I work myself out of that. And then I bring them into the mindset coaching business. And then I work them myself out of that. And then they get their story published to the world. And then they circle back around, Tisha, Greg, what else do you guys got? Because now I'm wanting to do this. So working them out of one business into the other, but we're really just their accountability buddy to bring their life into full resolution for what their goals and dreams are.
So, one thing I find it very interesting, and we've all talked about this, is when someone works on one piece in hypnotherapy on the mindset section for their business, their life. It doesn't have to just be executives because you have this open to, you work with so many different people from all walks of life. But when they work on one piece, it could be let's say, I'm not good enough issue, or the weight, or money, or whatever that thing is, and they can see the resolve in that. What ends up happening, and I kind of compare this to like a rose opening, there's another petal, there's another layer that makes itself known that they could either choose to work on or not. But there's
Oh,
another
yeah.
layer like, well, maybe I have issues with receiving money. Maybe I have issues with forgiveness. So there's something else that comes up. And if they choose to work on these things, it's really kind of making them more of a well-rounded person. But it is pretty much, in many ways, a path for them.
Well, I'll say this much. Um, I used to be like I was in boxes, so I was always saving money for a rainy day. Well, what happens on a rainy day? Nothing. It rains. So, um, yeah. So like we would go out and we'd buy someone's coffee behind us, or we'll pay the toll bridge behind us, or we'll even buy groceries in a grocery store for the people behind us. And every time that we gave out money, just giving it just because we had it, we got it back in tenfold every time. We have a check in the mail waiting for us. We didn't expect it, but we would do those things. And I don't know why, money's energy or whatever it is, but anytime we give out money to help somebody, we got it back. Not expecting it either.
That's a really good point. I think, especially when couples come together and one has fixed their relationship with money and the other one hasn't, you can see how that impacts the family. And so, Greg and I have really become laser focused. And that's why, scripture says where two or more come together, so it is. Greg and I had to get on the same page for what we wanted. And when we fixed our relationship with money, because you have a relationship with everything has a consciousness, and it's kind of woo woo. And we're going to talk about this on Beyond Mindset Limits. But when you fix that relationship with money, and we realize that the more we supported, the more we served, the more we gave, the more we got back. And we saw it in the little things. And we're like, wow, we could seriously drive through a coffee shop and pay for the guy behind us, and then go over here to the grocery store and someone gift us something, and we saw evidence of this belief system. It really brought it into full view, like, this is where the magic is. This is where it gets really good. And we saw evidence of those belief systems. So when they're struggling with mindset, when they're struggling, I tell them, don't try to think your way out of this. We have to reprogram the patterns beneath those thoughts. So pulling back, like the layer of
Layer.
the onion, like you said.
Yep.
Oh
Layers.
boy, isn't that the truth, Marianne?
Oh, yeah,
And
it's
there's
been my life experience. I mean, what were you going to
and
say, Greg? I'm sorry.
oh, there's lots of layers. It's not just one layer. It's lots of layers, like onion. Lots of layers.
Yeah, and it's interesting once we start walking in my ways, I look at it as like a spiritual path because
Mhm.
mindset, all of this is part of the greater spirituality for me. So as I'm walking my spiritual path and I work through one layer, another layer will show up for me to work on because I look at it as like we are getting the greatest, biggest education we can. But what a gift it is to be able to work through these and not be stuck. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had someone come up to me and go, you know, I always get these jobs where the bosses are horrible to me. And it's like these
Mm.
repetitive patterns, or I always date the wrong person, or I'm waiting for Mr. or Mrs. Right. I'm always, you fill in the blanks. And I think a lot of times they don't realize how deep mindset is and how rewiring the subconscious is what the both of you have taught me. We can shift this energetic pattern that's happening in our lives.
Well, it's just
Absolutely. Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry, Greg.
Well,
Go
no,
ahead.
no. I was just saying that people say, "Oh, I got all these problems." No, they're not problems. They're just obstacles. All you do is repivot and readjust, and you'll find the answer.
I love that. And I say in NLP language, when someone uses the word always, I always, that's a universal quantifier. So we just take that language out and say, in the past, I had a bad picker and I chose the wrong person. But now, and see how that reframes everything. So you're like, oh, okay, that's behind me. And let's keep looking forward and stop using those
I
universal
can't.
quanta. Yeah, I can't, or something like that. Yeah.
Really dive into that language. So, for listeners that might be interested in working with you, either in the mindset coaching, the legal support, or the publishing, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, contact us directly through email, YouTube, Yelp. We have you can expect guidance from us. That's for one thing, and clarity and actionable first steps. That's what I would say you do. Contact us directly.
Yeah, and directly meaning, are you ready? Are you ready to transform your whole entire life? Because there's nothing that Greg and I don't have that can help move the needle forward, fast track you forward. And coming up to 2026, we expect clarity. You can expect honesty from us, transparency, and we give you a customized path forward. So reach out to us. You could get us at Tisha Marie Cain. You can schedule an appointment immediately with us. You have access to our full calendar. And we're just here to support and serve humanity in a deeper way. And this is how we do it.
So, as you step into this a very exciting new chapter with your radio show, which I can't wait, I'm so looking forward to this. What excites you both about the conversations you'll be having?
For me, I'm going first, Greg. For me, the conversations, I want to go deep, the depth, the truth, the breakthroughs that are going to happen on this radio show. Man, I am so excited and I cannot wait. And that's not even the proper NLP language because cannot wait. The subconscious mind does not hear can't. So it says, I wait. So using the correct language, I am looking forward to Beyond Mindset Limits, breaking open people's conscious mind, their subconscious mind, reframing their mindset, helping them with legal aspects of the world, and getting our voice out into each of these cars, these houses, these homes, and I'm just really looking forward to that. What about you, Greg?
Well, this has been a nice episode with Marianne. She's sponsoring our radio show, but to me, that was like giving you the right textbook answers. And what it's going to be about us bantering back and forth. You're going to see the real me bantering back with my wife, and this is what we do at home all the time. So you might find it comical, you might find it a little intrusive, but you'll see how we go banter back and forth.
The real you, will the real Greg Cain please stand up?
Yeah, I gave you the right questioning and answering, but that's not what we're really about. We're really about discussion, we're politics.
No, we're not about politics. What the heck are you talking about? You're so funny.
But we talk about everything. We don't just discuss that stuff. We just banter back and forth on everything we do.
Well, here's what I want to say. Here's our tagline: Beyond Mindset Limits with Greg and Tisha Marie Cain, where clarity meets confidence and transformation becomes actionable. Simple, mic drop, boom.
See, I'll handle the beyond and I'll have the limit, but you handle the stuff in between.
Okay, that sounds good.
Mindset.
And that's what makes this show so entertaining. Never know what we're going to get. My goodness, Greg and Tisha Marie, thank you both so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you, Marianne.
It was a great time. Thank you.
Well, Greg and Tisha Marie Cain, it's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new show every Wednesday at 4 o'clock right here on KMET, Beyond Mindset Limits. Make sure to tune in and visit their website, tishamariecain.com or gregoryallencain.com or cainlegalsupport.com for more information and to be part of their community. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.